Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Bryce Garbacz, of course, of Plymouth boys basketball. How's it going, bud?
Going good. Yeah, going real good.
Just what have you been up to since the season ended, and how are you just kind of recovering before you head off to college? I know, obviously workout, staying in shape, and all that stuff. But what have you been up to?
Yeah, so season got over. We set out a plan right away of what we're doing. That's how most of my off seasons go. They're always structured. My big thing is improving year to year. I think that's shown throughout my high school career. Every single year I've gotten better um, by leaps and bounds each off season. Um, and so it's all structured. Eating certain foods, staying out of trouble. Working out every single day, lifting weights, staying in shape. A big thing guys lose in the off season is cardio. And that's one thing I strive to try and not lose. I try and keep. So when I go to open runs and some of the high school guys are gassed because they've had 6 weeks off, I'm running down the floor outpacing them. So that's a big thing.
Yeah. How do you think this overall year went? Because your senior season, brand new head coach,
Hmm.
obviously someone that's very, very familiar to the area.
Yeah.
Overall, and you had some good moments, obviously some tough moments as well, but it was still a solid year for a lot of growth happened with you guys.
Yeah. So I mean, our team grew a lot as the year kind of went on, and obviously new head coach. We were still figuring things out. It's not an easy transition, especially for the older people. Having a coach for 3 years and then changing it our senior year, things happen, things change. The big thing for us, we just couldn't seem to put the pieces together. We were playing our best basketball all the way up until the end. I mean, we played our best game, the last game of the year, which I think we still should have pulled out. And we had a lot of games like that. I mean, you could always say that about every game. But there's a lot of games in there where I feel we were right there, and a couple different kind of plays that changes the season for us. I mean, we look at a lot of games. I mean, we see Howell. I think we should have beat them at our place too. We had them on the ropes. Brighton was a close game at our place. There's just a bunch of different games. Northville was close. I mean, there's a bunch of tight games there down the line, and that's how the league is. I mean, it's so tight and so talented that a couple shots here, a couple defensive plays there, it can change a whole season. But I mean, as far as the season went for me, I was happy with how I played. Obviously, the team didn't get the result we wanted. Um, but looking at year to year development, which is something I strived to focus on each year, I mean, I've improved leaps and bounds. So, I mean, I've revolutionized my game even from junior to senior year. It was completely different style of play. Um, and I know a lot of kids kind of would stay the same or kind of have the same kind of MO, but it's always something to work on. So,
So how overall, how do you like? How are you at like as someone as probably senior leader is trying to get these guys going? What was that like for you?
yeah, so it was actually, I looked at the seniors from my years past. Like the group I had my junior year was really amazing. And I realized it's a lot harder than it looks. It's really hard, especially me, who's such a competitive person and practice day in and day out. Things get heated and whatnot. Um, and I realized it's a lot harder to kind of gauge people's maybe attention or focus or maybe like seriousness as like I thought that would maybe be a little bit easier. And that's probably where a little bit of disconnect came. But in general, the senior leadership part, I took guys under my wing even starting last summer, and I hope for those guys will see the results from that hard work. But the senior leadership stuff was definitely harder than I thought it was going to be. But obviously, Coach Drew helped me along the way and kind of teach me things. He would tell me a lot of stuff about Cole when he was at Canton, kind of even leading up to the season last year of stuff he would do or bad things he would do that I should not do, all this kind of stuff. But yeah, so I would say it was more of a challenge than I expected it to be for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, what was that? And yeah, you mentioned him, so might as well ask him. How was Coach Drew? And as somebody you're part of something that you can always say you were part of his first team.
Mm-hmm.
So what was it like to have him kind of help you out and how help you in your senior? Obviously, your dad's part of the program as well.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like to get getting what did he bring to this team?
Yeah, so the big shift was probably what I would say is the looseness of the level of play, right? So I mean, we came from a very structured kind of offense in years past where we would have kind of the separation of guards and centers or whatnot. And I was always kind of stuck in that middle, right? Because I'm a taller kid. When I was an underclassman, I really wasn't stepping out as often. And now you look at my game now, and it's completely based around that 3-point shot. But I would say probably the looseness to play. Obviously, it takes trust. Coach Drew put a lot of trust in me, and I feel like I gained that trust through. I was in the gym every single day. He saw me there before him, putting in work, doing whatever with all the other guys. And obviously, some of the shots I take in game are built through that trust. So I mean, he really boosted my confidence. I would say he gave me the reassurance that you can do this or you can do that. But I feel like he leaned on me a lot for a lot of different things. Um, I mean, and that's something that I had worked for. But I would say, I mean, he brought a looseness to the team that wasn't too loose, but also wasn't strict. So we found that good balance. And then now it's just time to kind of repeat and keep growing. So.
Yeah. So now that your high school tenure is over, looking
Mhm.
back, how do you think it went?
Yeah, so I would say, I wouldn't change anything. It's always God's plan. I wouldn't change anything that happened to me over my 4 years. Um, I wouldn't ask to live in somebody else's shoes or any of that. I'd always bet on myself. So looking back at my 4 years, yeah, the if you look at my sophomore year to my senior year specifically, it's like a completely different basketball player. I mean, my sophomore year, I started my first game as a sophomore on varsity on playing the five. So if you would think about that, we were running a blocker mover, and I was playing like the low post area, probably at like a buck 65, 6'4". And now my game is completely based around that 3-point shot, breaking down defenders, coming off ball screens, playing with advantages. So I completely revolutionized my game, and I'm not gonna let anybody else like. I mean, obviously, my trainers and coaches have been amazing, but at the end of the day, like that work speaks for itself. And to go from what I was playing like to now playing how I am, it's just leaps and bounds of what I probably could even expected myself. Um, but I always had the day in day out mentality of just growth, and I wouldn't trade that for anything. I think my high school career uh, went. I wouldn't change a thing about it. So.
What does basketball mean to you, bud?
Yeah, so basketball is yeah, my life kind of revolves around it. So basketball comes first, whether it's hanging out with my girlfriend, with family, whatever. It always seems to come first. I kind of build my schedule, my day around it. So everything kind of is based around basketball. So basketball is really everything for me. It's changed my life. It's added me disciplines that I didn't have before. And the one big thing that I've noticed throughout my high school career is those disciplines that you build through the sport are going to help me in every other facet of life, whether it's business, whether it's schoolwork or whatever. Those disciplines you can't take away from somebody. You can have the achievements and the points and all this stuff, but those disciplines and those habits are always going to stick. So I would say, yeah, it brings discipline and it brings structure into my life. So.
You're continuing your basketball. I know your basketball career is not your high school career may be over, but your basketball career is not. If
Mhm.
you turn to the left there, you can see where you're going to be heading.
Yeah,
Of course, during the season you committed to Alma College to continue your
mhm.
basketball career. What kind of sold you with them?
Yeah. So they saw me at a tournament during AAU. I think I hit like 4 or 5 straight threes or something like that. And then I got a text a couple days later from Coach Fitz, um, just telling me, come on, or we'd love to talk to you, all this kind of stuff. So we set up a visit. We went out there. It was a beautiful day. We went out there with the family, all that stuff, got it sorted. They offered me, and then yeah, so I've been up there a couple different times. I've been up there for homecoming. We went up there, kind of spent the day with the guys, played open gym, and the coaches just made me feel so comfortable. New coaches up there. They're changing the way that they play. We went up and watched the game. They play fast. They shoot a lot of threes. Um, and just the when I went up there for a game just recently, about a month or two ago, the energy was crazy. It seems like a fun system to play in, and all the guys were super amazing when I went up there, and I'm really looking forward to it. They've been amazing to me so far. They've been amazing through the process and all areas. So I'm really excited to get up there and get things going.
Yeah. And last thing is, what are you going to miss about high school basketball?
Yeah, so what I'm gonna miss about high school basketball is probably I know next year isn't gonna be anything like this year was. Just like the practices day in and day out. Like with the younger guys, I'd probably say like I'm gonna be a younger guy next year. So like as a upperclassman, it was always fun to kind of be with the younger guys and show them the ways. But now I'm gonna have to adjust and be the student again. So one thing I'll miss about high school basketball, just growing connections that I wouldn't have had outside the sport. Like a lot of my teammates, all throughout my high school career, I probably wouldn't have been as close with if I wasn't playing basketball. Those connections you build, you see them day in and day out through school. And obviously, when you go to the connections that you build through the sport, like I don't know, it's just high school basketball is something completely different, and it's really hard to describe. Like kind of that energy that it gives you. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna miss. I would say the moments. Like I think I play for moments. I told Coach Drews at the end of the year we had our exit interview. I play for big time moments, and I play for things that I'm gonna remember. So like if I have a and one and I'm screaming on the ground or something like that's something I want to do, and that's something I play for. I would say I'll miss the little moments like that with the guys and the energy that high school basketball brings.
All right. Well, Bryce, thank you so much for coming on once again, and best of luck the rest of this year, and maybe we'll catch up with you when you're at Alma.
Awesome. Thank you so much.